Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Oxnard Planning Commission for Thursday, June 5, 2025. This meeting will come to order at 6:03 p.m. The public may view the meeting from home on the city's website, Spectrum Channel 10, Frontier Channel 35, or on the city's YouTube website. To participate in the meeting, the public may provide comments to the Planning Commission via email at planning@oxnard.org no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or through the city's website at oxnard.org/city-meetings, or call the Planning Division office. Additionally, those wishing to speak can dial the phone number listed at the bottom of the screen, follow the instructions to access the meeting, and press star 9 to raise your hand, indicating your intention to speak on the agenda item being discussed. Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Chair Arejo.
Present.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Present.
Commissioner Scholke.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Dr. Miguel Lopez, will you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And immediately after, we'll have a brief moment of silence for the passing of Mayor Tom Holden. Thank you.
If able, please stand. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. The next agenda item is C, public comment on items not on the agenda. At this time, a person may address the Planning Commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, including information consent items and any time not appearing on the agenda. The Planning Commission cannot take action on any item presented during public comments that is not on the agenda, and such item may only be referred to the Commission Secretary. Persons wishing to speak on public hearing items should do so at the time of the public hearing. Madam Secretary, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
No, Chair.
Thank you. And the next is Section D, Consent Agenda. The minutes for the following meetings have been distributed for D1, April 3, 2025, and D2, May 1, 2025. Did I say right? April 3 and May 1. If there is no objection, we will take up all the items at the same time. And if there are no corrections to be made, a motion is in order. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes for April 3rd, 2025 and May 1st, 2025 as presented.
Thank you. It has been moved by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart to approve the minutes as distributed for April 3 and May 1. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Scholke. There's no deliberation. Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Scholke.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Section E, ex parte declarations for public hearing items. Please state any ex parte declarations, if any. I'll move across the dais. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
None, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
None, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Scholke.
None, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And none for myself. Going to the first public hearing, agenda item F1, project name 2030 General Plan and Local Coastal Plan Conformity Determination for the City of Oxnard, mid-cycle update to the Capital Improvement Program, fiscal years 25 to 29. City staff Morgan Kessler, City Engineer. The Planning Commission will review the mid-cycle update to the CIP for fiscal years 25 to 29 to confirm the projects are in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and relevant coastal land use plan policies pursuant to Section 65401 of the Government Code. The CIP includes a range of roadway improvements, maintenance of public facilities, stormwater drainage improvements, and other miscellaneous projects. The whole of the proposed CIP projects are located throughout the City of Oxnard and vary in scope and funding filed by the City of Oxnard Public Works Department. Per Measure M, a staff presentation is pre-recorded and the link has been posted to YouTube. Per previously approved standing rules, staff can provide a brief summary of the pre-recorded presentation in addition to other analysis at this time. Does staff wish to give some introductory remarks?
All right. Well, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Morgan Kessler, City Engineer from the Public Works Department. The item before you tonight is part of our approval process for the update to the 5-year CIP. As this body is, I'm sure, is aware, the city of Oxnard has a 5-year capital improvement program, rolling 5 years, or the CIP as we call it. And we do a complete update and revision on that document every 2 years. Right now, we're in between those 2 years, and we just completed an update to that document. Generally, the update is fairly simple and minor. Its purpose is to revise individual, well, there's a couple goals of the update. The first is to provide a revision for projects that need either the schedule of the projects or the project's budget revised. And we've done that for 32 existing projects, I believe. The second purpose is to capture any new CIP items that just couldn't wait until the full CIP revision. In this case, I believe we have 13, and they are listed on the second page of the staff report. And these projects were added at this time because the departments that requested the CIP projects felt like that these projects had to move forward now rather than wait a full another year before the new update to the CIP. So, you know, the recommendation for the Planning Commission is stated in the first part of the staff report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this CIP update.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'll move on to the commission if they have any questions. I'll lead off the questions. Hopefully a simple one. Of these 13 projects, will any need an additional hearing before the Planning Commission?
No, I don't believe they will, because they will be added to the CIP, and once the CIP is approved by the Planning Commission and the City Council, those projects are considered reviewed and vetted and found conforming to all the requirements that they need to conform to, and we typically we will bring them when we're ready to proceed with the project. We will well, there'll be a step where it's determined if they need, if the project needs further environmental review and compliance, such as an environmental impact report or something like that. Other than that, the project will go straight to the City Council for approval.
Right. Thank you for that. And one follow-up question. This is a mid-cycle update. Is there ever a time when you've come to the Planning Commission for a mid-fiscal year update? Or do you just leave it for every year for the regular Do you have a mid-year update, or is it just every fiscal year?
It's every fiscal year, and that's a necessity because as part of this update, it has an impact on the city's budget. So the updates and the full and the full redos of the CIP they necessarily have to precede the approval of the budget every year.
Okay, and then probably one last follow-up. If there is a major increase or decrease in any grant funding that goes to any of these projects, would that be a time that you would come back to the Planning Commission in case a project drastically changes because of those funding increments or likely decreases?
I'm not sure. I guess that would have to be handled on a case-by-case basis. I would say if the funding mechanism through the grant requires that we would return to the Planning Commission with any sort of grant conditions that would need input from the Planning Commission or have an impact on planning issues, we would return to the Planning Commission.
Yeah, and I can maybe speak to that, because ultimately what's before the commission isn't necessarily tied to the funding, it's tied to the project itself and whether the project is in conformance with the general plan. So if there was changes to the funding amounts or things like that, or in that nature, that would not necessarily trigger a change, that wouldn't necessarily need to come back here. It'd only be if the project was, again, not the same project that was essentially presented before, in which case that would just be a different project.
Thank you both, appreciate it. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
I have more of a curiosity question. I see under the Advanced Alley Maintenance Program, they're redoing asphalt. But I know that driving around the city, some of the alleys have been redone in concrete. Why some are special and others aren't?
What gives there, right? So prior to this new project, which we're calling the Advanced Alley Maintenance Program, or AMP, right, is the acronym, we had 2 levels of treatment for alleys that are in high levels of deterioration, which honestly is a lot of them. We had a kind of a reactionary maintenance program where somebody would call in and say, there's potholes and my alley's falling apart. So our city maintenance crews, street maintenance crews, would go out there, patch the potholes, put a skin patch on the, the part that was bad and call it good. The second level, I guess, of alley repair is kind of our gold standard. It's where we go to an alley that needs reconstruction, completely tear it out, replace all the buried utilities and things that need attention, and come back and reconstruct it with Portland cement concrete. So those were the 2 kind of, let's say, extremes of treatment options that we had. We realized that we needed an intermediate treatment option because we have a pavement management plan. And in that pavement management plan, each alley kind of has its turn based on its condition as to when it will receive that top level treatment that I talked about.
Okay.
Sometimes that would be on the order of years, and they can't wait that long. So we came up with the Advanced Alley Maintenance Program, which uses a combination of repair techniques, which is essentially what we call mill and overlay, crack sealing, and using a variety of pavement preservation treatments like slurry seals and microsurfacing to bring the alley up to a point where it will last those years until their turn comes up to be fully reconstructed with the Portland cement concrete. So it's considered an intermediate treatment, a stopgap treatment that's of high enough quality that it will last until the alley's fully reconstructed.
Okay. The other thing I didn't see in my report is there was no list of the locations that are going to be able to have this service done to them.
Well, in our pavement management program, it's called our 5-phase pavement management program that we brought before and was approved by council last April 2024, has a list of those locations.
Okay.
It's updated yearly because the conditions change over time, but that's really where we keep those the list of streets in their level of their condition level and when it's a running tally of when they'll be treated. So
all right. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to public comment. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
No, Chair.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to deliberation. Commission. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
This project has been brought before us on several occasions, and it was delayed for various reasons. But having gone through it several times, and I know that they've made changes and refined it, so I don't find any issues with this. So I'm willing to give it my, or support it, I should say.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission? And for myself, and maybe a little from Commissioner Steve Nash, we saw this item in our Measure O committee, and so I apologize a little, there's a little bit cross-pollination in regards to my financially relevant questions. On the Measure O committee, there were some planning, engineering-related questions, so it's interesting. If you see both of them, you can't help but ask questions anyway. So I believe, at least for me and Commissioner Nash, we definitely got a good dose of this and are fully aware of all the projects and what they've done. And of course, with the Planning Commission, I believe that this is in keeping with what the city needs. At this time, any other commissioners? And if not, a motion is in order.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the recommended action.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart to find a mid-cycle update to the capital improvement plan projects for fiscal years 25 to 29 is not a project under CEQA pursuant to sections 15601B3 and 15387B4, and adopt resolution 2025-XX finding that the proposed additional mid-cycle update to the capital improvement program projects for fiscal years 25 to 29 are in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and relevant coastal land use plan policies pursuant to Section 65401 of the Government Code. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Schuelke. There's no further deliberation on the motion before us. Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Aye.
Commissioner Schuelke.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item F2, Albany Apartments. Planning and zoning permit number 24-500-03, special use permit 24-300-03, tentative parcel map, and 24-535-01, density bonus, property located at 2929 to 2931 Albany Drive, a request to partially demolish classroom buildings totaling 7,977 square feet. The project site construction includes reuse of an existing classroom building and new construction of new buildings to allow for a 20-unit, 42,204 square foot apartment complex with 10 two-bedroom and 10 three-bedroom units. The project also includes a tentative parcel map merging 3 existing lots into 1 lot and vacating and relocating of an alleyway. The project also includes the ministerial approval of a density bonus permit to allow the reduction to the setbacks and parking. The project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to sections 15315 and 15332 of the CEQA guidelines filed by designated agent Andrew Outhouse of 360 Architecture and Design on behalf of property owner Albany Apartments of Oxnard. City staff Juan Carlos Torres, Associate Planner. Per Measure M, a staff presentation has been pre-recorded and the link has been posted to YouTube. Per previously approved standing rules, staff can provide a brief summary of the pre-recorded presentation in addition to other analysis at this time. Does staff wish to give some introductory remarks?
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Arejo, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you for describing the project.
Oh, sir, can you put the microphone a little bit closer to you, if you can?
I can.
Okay. Apologies. Thank you. Just for the public. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Arejo, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you for the introduction of the project. I want to start by saying that before or prior to the meeting, there were a few questions that were asked by by some members of the planning commissioners. And some of those questions had to do with if we can increase the affordability percentage of the project. The answer to that was no. We are very limited on when it comes to when the applicant submits a density bonus application. And some of the other questions that were asked were if the planning commissioners can add additional conditions of approval to the project in regards to the noise. This is to further mitigate the noise requirements for the site. And the answer to that is yes, but as proposed, the project currently complies with the city's noise ordinance. Furthermore, there were some questions asked in regards to what type of mechanical ventilation the project was going to be proposed. The answer to that was the project, as proposed, provides condensing units for each one of the units. And in case if you guys are going to be asking for if we're going to have any additional mechanical ventilation during the plan check process, the planning department will be reviewing that. And we can also ask the applicant if there is additional ventilation besides the condensing units. In regards to, there was also some questions asked in regards to the inclusionary requirements. There is a condition of approval in the project that requires the project to be bound by 20 years. But again, the state density bonus law requires the project to record a covenant for 55 years. Well, that was some of the extent of the questions that were asked. There were also some questions asked for, distance between the railroad track distance and the proximity to the closest habitable unit, and that was roughly about approximately 15 feet. In addition to that, the staff have made some modifications to the conditions of approval, in which I can go ahead and tell you where it is, and then tell you the changes to that condition. So the first change to the conditions of approval was to condition number 172 of the special use permit resolution attachment. You can find this condition on page 28 of 33 for the special use resolution attachment under the Development Services Division special conditions section. Within condition 172, at the end of the second sentence, staff has added the new text after the word issuance as follows, comma, unless approved otherwise by the city engineers. The same change will apply to condition number 21 of the tentative parcel map resolution. Condition number 21 is on page 11 of 12 of the resolution attachment within the Development Service Division Special Conditions section. The revised condition 172 and of the special use permit resolution and condition number 21 of the tentative parcel map resolution will read as follows. The developer shall process the parcel map PC 24-300-03 concurring with the required building and site improvements for the planning and zoning permit number 24-500-03 are approved and ready for permit issuance unless approved otherwise by the city engineers. City improvement permit issuance for the project site shall occur concurrently with the parcel map recordation. And those are the remarks that we have so far.
Thank you very much, Mr. Torres. We will, if the applicant is here, you have 15 minutes to present if you're here or online. Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir. If you could just please state your name, and you have 15 minutes. You don't have to use all 15 minutes, and you can begin when ready.
Good morning. My name is James Allen. I'm a long-term property owner in the city of Oxnard, and I am the applicant, and I'm a member of Albany Apartments of Oxnard LLC. The reason for designing this project as it is my partners and I recognize the need in this city for larger units, larger rental units. As you can see from the package, we're providing rental units 2 and 3 bedrooms. Average minimum size for the existing units is over 1,000 square feet. For the new units is 1,500 to 1,600 square feet. These are family-oriented units, and it seems that in Oxnard we have more rental housing but less family-oriented rental housing. So our thought was, let's create a little area where families can live. Our experience in providing rental housing is larger units, family-oriented units, have a tendency to be occupied for longer term by families, and families like to be near other families. So this is not really a typical apartment complex. It actually lends itself more to being considered a townhouse type of development. All the units are, there's no upstairs, downstairs, different ownership. It's all side by side by side, and all 2 or 3 bedrooms. The two bedrooms have a den area, and they all have at least 2 baths. And our thought was, this is something that the city of Oxnard needs more of. As I indicated, there's just a lot of folks that are building very small units in Oxnard, and our way of thinking is that's good for the younger and the transient occupancy, but what we wanted was a more permanent housing provided for folks that are in need of rental housing. With that thought, we acquired this site. The site was originally the Mary Law School. It was a K through 12, I think, originally. When we first acquired it, we submitted some plans to planning, got some feedback, submitted more detailed plans, got some feedback. We've been at this for like 3 years now. And the last time before we submitted our plans, we tried to address absolutely every area of concern that planning and public works expressed. And based upon that, we feel that we've presented a plan for the development of a area that's designed. It's RPD. Well, it's zoned for 30 units on this property. So we're looking for 20. We're not going very dense, and we've asked to be allowed to preserve the existing one-story portion right along Channel Islands Boulevard. It's in good shape. Before I even closed on the property, I walked in with the structural engineer, made sure it met current structural requirements. It's a well-designed, it's going to be basically 4 one-story units, completely handicapped accessible. And we just feel that this is a good project for the city of Oxnard. This evening, I brought the architect with me that did all of the drawings. His name is Andrew Altos, and I brought the civil engineer from Pacific Coast Civil in order to answer any specific questions the commission might have relative to the design of the project or the needs that we've had to meet in order to have a project that the city would be happy with. I think we've done a good job. I've had rental properties in Oxnard since I was in law school, so it's been, that was a long time ago. And I know the city fairly well, and I like the project. I liked the location when I found it. There's other apartments around it. All the concerns that the staff has expressed, we've tried to address, and I think we've resolved them all. I would be pleased to answer any questions that the commission has. With that, unless you have questions, that I can direct, that I can't answer directly, I can turn it over to both the architect and the engineer to answer your specific questions.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. At this time, members may ask questions of the applicant, Mr. Allen, or staff, Mr. Torres, and then they can delegate from there if needed. Commission.
Chair Urejo, if I could just add in,
Mr.
I just wanted to note that we are joined by Tai Chow, our Assistant Director and City Engineer as well, if there are any questions for him as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pearson. Looking to the commission for any questions at this time. Okay. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart?
I guess I just want to make the statement, these density bonus type projects, a lot of the things that I probably want to bring up, I can't because my hands are tied. I think it is a good project, but I do have some concerns, but I will hold those.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. I'll lead off with a couple of questions then. In regards to one of the questions that was previously submitted in regards to can the 10-foot sound wall be allowed to have vegetation vines on it, looking to staff, is that something that we need to include if the commission desires into the condition of approval, or can that just be asked of the applicant?
Chair Ray, I would say if that was a specific thing that the commission wanted to see, that would be something that we could add as a condition just to make it clear that that requirement exists.
Okay. And in regards to the 4-foot noise barriers of the walls, I'm looking at the Eiler Associates analysis page, at least starting from 12 through 16, but particularly table 5, in regards to the exterior noise levels being above the 65 level. Can you provide in layman's terms when or how that number was determined? I know that there are times that they are being measured. I was wondering if that's a maximum or an average, and then I have follow-up questions from there.
I can tell you that it was measured at various times, and that I'm going to have to defer to the architect because he has had more in-depth conversations with our sound engineer. But the bottom line is, well, there's a couple of things. We created this 10-foot sound barrier wall along the railroad track. The council, the commission, I'm sorry, should be aware that this is a very seldom used railroad. Usually maximum of one trip a day. It's freight, it's not passenger rail. And the track itself ends less than 2 miles from the crossing at Channel Islands Boulevard. It's seldom used, and when I heard some concerns from the commission, from my own personal knowledge, I know it's seldom used, but also I know that the sound wall is going to deaden sound, not just from the railroad train, but from everything to the north, which would include traffic or anything else. So the calculations that were originally done were done prior to the installation of the intended sound wall. So I also made a point of meeting with the neighbors, lived there next building down this last week, and each one of them said, yeah, it's seldom used and we never notice it. So if the concern's relative to railroad noise, I think we've addressed it. Relative to the street noise, It was measured at both prime traffic time and regular time, and I think those are all contained in the tables from Mr. Eiler, but I can have Andrew Altos answer that question more directly if you want.
Yes, I think I would appreciate that. I'll tap on another question that either you or he might be able to answer, and that I'm hesitant with more than half of the units being so close to the exceeding the noise limit. I can see your point in regards to the railroad being seldom used, and so then I'll focus my attention to those that are street facing. But yes, I would appreciate any further comments in regards to increasing the number and/or the height of the sound barriers and why you would be willing or not willing to do that.
I can advise the commission that we would be willing to increase the height of the sound wall up to you folks. It only requires that we build larger footings, but it's not going to be a negative impact on the development. And as far as additional sound barriers, I did have a suggestion made by the architect that after consulting with the sound engineer, that on the second story decks, rather than just having a rail fencing, we could put a more solid fencing. We're already providing for double insulation all along the north walls of all of the units. I think the quick answer is I don't think there's going to be any reason for concern for noise from the railroad. One, it's seldom used, and two, just looking down the railroad way, there's just lots and lots and lots of housing, single story, that are as close as we are to the railroad tracks, and they don't seem to be having any issues with it. It's just a very seldom used railway. I think the only thing they ever haul up there are cars from a yard about, as I say, less than 2 miles to the south. And I know yesterday there was a total of 1 crossing. Took about a minute to cross Channel Islands Boulevard, but it's just not that loud, and it's just not that often.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. To staff, in regards to at least just for the units, if not for all of the units, can we add a condition of approval just to tell those who might be there that, just to give them notification that noise could be a concern? Or is there anything in regards to that? I just, at least to the commission, I don't want to be, I've stayed in at least a couple of Airbnbs where it wasn't made known to me that there was going to be significant noise, and so that was unfortunate. And so I think at least on the city side that we would be protecting the city if there's at least, even at just you initial or you get a pamphlet about the noise. So I look to staff if that's something that we are able to do, and if that's been done before, that we could add some similar language to a condition of approval.
May I suggest, since these are going to be rental units, that we just include in the rental disclosure that they're railroad and maybe noise emanating from it as just part of our disclosure to prospective tenants.
Thank you for that. I'll look to staff if we need to formalize that then.
So Chair Rajo, yes, we have had similar types of things. We've had that with like the airport, as well as notifications if you're being, a project being constructed near farmland. So yes, this is something that we can do. And as Mr. Allen mentioned, typically it is done as part of like the rental disclosure. So they would we would have a condition that would just state that the property owner would notify all future residents of the presence of the railroad nearby and potential noise impacts associated with that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Those are my questions at this time. I'll look to Vice Chair Dr. Stewart and any others from the commission. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Just have a real quick one for you. I know that I too was concerned about noise. Are the windows, and I didn't see it in here, are those double pane glass windows?
They will be, they are exterior windows, they would have to be.
Okay, all right, that was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission? Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Quick question, maybe to the staff or the applicant, but on the staff presentation, condition number 69 and 70, it said 2 of the 20 units being developed must be affordable units, shall be for rent to very low income households. Have those been identified as 2 2-bedrooms or 1 2-bedroom and 1 3-bedroom?
I think that is given to us by the housing authority as to, they're probably going to want one of each. Okay. But it's kind of their call. And I've had some discussions with them. In fact, that's one of the things that they mentioned in my meeting a few months back was that they're very pleased that we're building large units here. Because most of the things they have coming in, they're going, well, 450, 500 square feet for housing, you know, it's, we don't really have housing available for families, was the answer.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Sorry, just to respond to Commissioner Lopez, condition 83 does outline that it is 1 2-bedroom and 1 3-bedroom.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Allen. If there are no other further questions from the commission, I have one last follow-up just as we go into public comment. This commission has before in various resolutions or in comments have requested or wanted a higher affordable housing. And I asked the question of if it can be increased. And I just want something from staff to, if you could state the reason why the Planning Commission is unable to request an increase in the affordable income or affordable housing percentage at this time.
So Chair Rejo and Commissioners, with regards to the affordable housing percentages, as it relates to the, I guess first starting with the city's inclusionary ordinance. So the inclusionary ordinance, which has been adopted by City Council, establishes what the affordable housing percentage is. So the current inclusionary ordinance is currently set at 10%. So that establishes the baseline for the entire city. So unless the ordinance is updated, which is in process, and I believe may have been some time ago, but did come before the commission. Until that is officially updated and adopted by City Council, the standard across the city has to still be the 10%. And then as it relates to density bonus law, density bonus law obviously is a state law, which does establish what the affordable housing requirements are based on the concessions or additional density bonus the applicant is requesting. Given that they're asking for the 2 concessions, the state density bonus law does specifically identify what the applicant is required to provide in order to receive those. So the city does not have the ability to modify that state law.
Thank you for that explanation. I'll probably have comments related to that during our deliberation, but if there's no further questions, I'll move on to public comment. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
No, Chair.
Great. Thank you very much. Since there's nothing to respond to, I'll look to staff if there's any closing remarks.
No further comments.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to deliberation. Commission. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
go ahead and get us started here. I will say that I do share, I think, the concern that has been expressed by some fellow commissioners about the proximity to the railroad of just 15 feet, right, from the required 85-foot setback. I also do understand that along that railroad track there are, there is an existing neighborhood where homes, single-family homes, do line, again, just the extent of the railroad there. And so that, for me, just really gives me that moment of pause with the project itself. I think when I look at, just the background of our housing situation, of our available housing stock, there are other elements of the project that certainly, make it stand apart to me, including the fact that they will be looking to preserve what the existing structure that is there, and, just enhance it to accommodate the remaining units on the property. So that's kind of like what I'm juggling with here. I do appreciate the noise study that was done, as well as the questions being asked to enhance, if you will, the sound barrier, including the double pane windows. I think the applicant talked about it being double insulated, so that is a mitigating step there nonetheless to help out. So my only concern, I'll say, is that 15-foot setback from the railroad right there at that busy crossing on Channel Islands, which is really right upon the property. But all things considered, I think it would provide, much needed affordable housing and just housing stock and option in a part of the community, South Oxnard, that could benefit from it. I think about its proximity to, whether it's existing stores, businesses, educational, schools, the high school, the college right there at the next intersection, as well as then just access to the one or those main roads that take you to the 101. So looking forward to seeing what my fellow commissioners say, but nonetheless, again, just weighing this with this proximity to the railroad, along with the much needed housing inventory and stock that is needed here and everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, as I look at this, I know that, having worked on the housing elements, the various ones since 2010, housing, our arena numbers are always the worst of any of the other cities in this county. And so we have a continuous need for housing. And so I think it's important that housing gets built, but I think it is also the mission of this commission to ensure that that housing, with the density bonuses that allow for certain concessions to take place, that housing is the best quality that we can afford it to be, and still allow the project to go through or make changes to the project so that what is offered to those when they go out to get housing is something of quality. So I support this. I understand it. I think that we've addressed the issues that I have, and then the other issues are part of the concessions that need to be made as part of the density bonus. We have some low-income housing in here, and so, again, I can support this.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission? For myself, when a motion is proposed, I'll just let the commission know that I plan to propose 2 amendments to include vegetation on the 10-foot sound wall, and including a notice of the noise impacts as part of the rental disclosures. But I'll offer that as separate in case commission would like to vote no on one of them. And so I'll wait at that time. Just in general, based on my questions, the noise was my main concern, related a little to the setback from the railroad. And one of my questions to staff before was, our default is 85 feet. And so I think it would be sometime in the near future, if council could look at all the setback minimums and see if they're in accordance with what they want to do going forward for any new development. So I'll leave that up to them. But I appreciate the applicant or the property owner, Mr. Allen, in answering my questions in regards to the noise from the railroad, that they're minimal, and open to the suggestions already of increasing or adding more noise walls. However, given the explanations, I think that I'll only propose the notice of the noise impacts, especially given that it seems like those are maximums, and they do realize where they are in regards to proximity to the street and to the railroad, however seldom that is. Anyways, my concerns are allayed in regards to noise to a great extent, and I definitely appreciate the explanation that there aren't enough rental for family. It's a little bit unheard of, or not unheard of, but not par for the course, because they're usually one bedroom and studio. So definitely appreciate the project or property owner emphasizing that for us and for the public. If there's no further deliberation before us, I'm looking to the commission for a motion.
Happy to move the staff recommended action.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Dr. Lopez to find the project to be exempt from CEQA pursuant to sections 15315 and 15332 of the CEQA guidelines, and adopt resolution 2025-XX, recommending that the City Council approve planning and zoning permit number 24-300-03, subject to certain findings and conditions, and adopt resolution 2025-XX, approving planning and zoning permit number 24-500-03 and planning and zoning permit number 24-535-01, subject to certain findings and conditions. And before I ask for a second, I'll request that staff can repeat their change in regards to, I tried to write as much as I could, but if you could just summarize it to something that I could repeat.
Sure. There are revisions to the condition of approval number 172 as listed in the special use permit resolution attachment on page 20A of 33 within the Development Services Division special conditions. And condition number 21 as listed in the tentative parcel map resolution attachment on attachment page 11 of 12 within the Development Services Division special condition have been modified to read as follows. Developer shall process the parcel map PC 24-300-03 concurring with the required building and site improvements for planning and zoning permit number 24-500-03 are approved and ready for permit issuance unless approved otherwise by the city engineer. Site improvement permit issuance for the project site shall occur concurrently with the parcel map recordation.
Thank you. I'm going to do this instead. If there's no objection from the commission and no objection from the maker of the motion, Commissioner Dr. Lopez, the comment in regards to amending it by Mr. Torres will be included in the motion. No objection from Commissioner Dr. Lopez, no objection from commission. Thank you. That has been included. Is there a second on the motion as amended?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. At this time, I'm going to move to amend the motion before us to include a vegetation, vegetation vines on the 10-foot wall and a notice of the noise impact as part of the disclosure. Before I ask for a second, I'm going to look to staff if I need to say something more legalese in regards to that. No? Thank you, Mr. Zaragoza. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Is there a second to the amendment to the main motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any deliberation on the amendment? Okay. Madam Secretary, so just to clarify or make sure, the next vote is just going to be on the amendment to include the vegetation on the 10-foot wall and the noise impacts. If that is amended, or that is approved, then the newly amended motion, main motion will include both of those criteria. So, if there's no questions on that, Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call on the amendment?
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Vince Stewart,
Aye.
Commissioner Schuelke,
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you. The motion before the commission is the recommended action that was stated in our packet, plus the changes recommended by Mr. Torres, plus the included vegetation vines on the 10-foot wall and the notice of noise impacts. Is there any deliberation on the motion as amended before us? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Commissioner Schuelke,
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Moving on to agenda item F3. Oh, man. Where am I? Q. Sturgis Business Park tentative parcel map, planning and zoning permit number 24-500-04, special use permit, and 24-300-02, tentative parcel map, property located at 2360, 2362, and 2364 Sturgis Road, a request to subdivide an existing industrial developed property of approximately 3.215 acre lot for condominium purposes. The tentative subdivision map would subdivide the existing site and current buildings to create one lot for common area containing parking driveways and current buildings to create, and 22 lots matching the buildings for industrial condominiums. The project would also include minor site improvements, including relocation of compact parking spaces within the site and replacement of the existing sidewalk and driveway approach along Sturgis Road. To comply with the Americans with Disability Act requirements, the project is exempt from CEQA guidelines, section 15301K of the CEQA guidelines, filed by Agent Scott UHLES Delane Engineering Incorporated on behalf of property owner James Leff, city staff Juan Carlos Torres, associate planner. For Measure M, a staff presentation has been pre-recorded and the link has been posted to YouTube per previously outstanding rules. Staff can provide a brief summary of the pre-recorded presentation. In addition to other analysis at this time, does staff wish to give some introductory remarks?
Thank you, Chair Rejo. Also, I wanted to start with this project by telling the public that there was a few questions that were asked by the Planning Commissioner, some members of the Planning Commission, asking more in line how the why is it that is required a special use permit for this project. One of the reasons for the project requiring a special use permit is because the code requires anytime that a project is proposing a subdivision, according to the section, Oxnard City Code section 16-395, it will require for a project that was previously approved under a DDR to submit a special use permit. And some of the other questions were more in line of some of the things that we actually required to review when a special use permit is submitted as part of the tentative parcel map. We also reviewed for the project to be in compliance with the development standards, parking requirements, and also the zoning code requirements, and as well to some of the general plan development standards.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. We will have the applicant present at this time if there is any here or in Zoom? Okay, thank you very much. And if you could introduce yourself if you wish, and you have 15 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Scott Yules. I'm with Delane Engineering. Along with me is the project applicant and owner as well, if you guys have any questions. We agree with the staff report from Mr. Torres and the conditions of approval that have been presented. One minor note is it noted 22 lots. It's actually only one legal lot and 22 units, but there'll be condo units, which is an airspace subdivision. It's not a lot. And this is, as he pointed out, an existing project. There's no change that we're proposing to the project other than bringing some of the site issues up to current codes in terms of trash enclosure, ADA, and things like that. But otherwise, the project will stay as is. So we're here for any questions, but we don't have anything further.
Thank you, Mr. Yules.
Thank you.
At this time, members may ask questions of either the applicant, Mr. Yules, or staff, Mr. Torres. Commission. Seeing no questions of either the applicant or the staff, we'll move on to public comment. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
No, Chair.
Thank you. And since there's no public comment, nothing to respond to, and if there's no closing remarks from staff, the public hearing is now closed. Commission, any deliberation before us? If there is none, I'm looking for a motion. It's been moved by Commissioner Schuelke to find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15301K and adopt resolution 2025-XX recommending that the City Council approve planning and zoning permit number 24-300-02 for a tentative subdivision map subject to certain findings and conditions and adopt resolution 2025-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 24-500-04 for a special use permit subject to certain findings and condition. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. If there's no deliberation on the motion before us, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Schuelke.
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Orejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, and congratulations. We'll move on to agenda item F4. I want to say it's Pantoja or Panjoja, but I think it's Pantoja Trucking Facility, Planning and Zoning Permit number 24-500-05, Special Use Permit Planning Property located at 210 and 320 East Wainimi Road. The applicant requests a special use permit to authorize the construction of a 0.77 acre truck parking area, perimeter fencing with landscaping, drainage improvements, and restore a portion of the westernmost lot to vacant undeveloped land on a 4.76 acre developed site within the light manufacturing plan development zone. The request includes certification of the proposed final initial study, mitigated negative declaration, and adoption of the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, which has been prepared pursuant to provisions of CEQA filed by Wade Lewis on behalf of property owners Jesus Pantoja and Rebecca Pantoja of Pantoja Truck Line. City staff Jay Dobrowolski, planning supervisor. Per Measure M, a staff presentation has been pre-recorded and the link has been posted to YouTube. Per previously approved standing rules, staff can provide a brief summary of the pre-recorded presentation. In addition to other analysis at this time, does staff wish to give some introductory remarks?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Planning Commission. Staff doesn't have any specific remarks regarding the pre-recorded presentation, but staff does have comments regarding questions received from the Planning Commission, as well as one public comment letter that staff just received this afternoon. So I will try to summarize these for you. Staff received a few questions from the Planning Commission. I'll go through those first. One of the questions was, why wasn't a special use permit offered or applied for in light of the multiple citations that the SUP intends to conform to the previously intended uses. And so to respond to that, staff did summarize the code case on this property in the staff report. More specifically, the applicant team was informed that a discretionary permit would be required to abate the violation. That application was submitted about 2 months after the stop work order was issued. So the special use permit has been in process for quite some time. The initial application was not complete. Staff needed additional information. And so here we are this evening. This requested SUP would partially abate the violation. Another question staff received is, can an annual reporting or check by staff be made to check that mitigation efforts have continued or are continuing? And staff responds that the current conditions of approval, as well as mitigation measures, they do not necessitate special ongoing compliance. Once the final approval is granted to the project, that would be via a building permit. The property would then be in full compliance with the applicable regulations. It is worth noting that the code case remains open on the subject property, and that will remain open until the city permits receive final approval. And then during the grading permit and building permit approval process, the applicant team would not be able to use the portion of their facility that was developed without permits. Any use of that portion of the facility would be cause for further enforcement action. And if it is found that the permittee is not in compliance with the approved special use permit, then the property would be subject to further enforcement actions, which may include revocation of the special use permit. And then, of course, the Planning Commission can deliberate this evening, and it can also add additional conditions of approval to the SUP. Staff did receive a question regarding the code violation history. And that question is that when staff inspected the property, discovered that the western portion of the project site had been cleared, a gravel base was installed, a chain link fence with barbed wire had been installed. Staff opened a code case. And specifically, can staff offer an analysis of the damage done by this violation? Were any fines levied? And if fines were levied, were they paid? So to respond to those in order, it's not clear what type of damage this question is referring to. The environmental impacts of the development are discussed in the MND that is before you this evening. More specifically, the unpermitted development did cause aesthetic damage to the adjacent scenic roadway. It may have created damage to drainage and stormwater, cultural resources, air quality, biological resources, and other areas that staff, in consultation with environmental consultants, are unable to exactly quantify. And that's mostly because the conditions that existed prior to the unpermitted development were not definitively evaluated. As far as were any fines levied, that question goes, yes, there were fines levied. More specifically, during the past few years, the city has issued a total of 8 citations that included fines, and the city did not issue another 4 citations when violations were observed on the property. And then the last question was, if fines were levied, were they paid? So staff researched that of the 8 citations that were issued, 2 have been paid to date. Staff received another question regarding the air quality impacts. Specifically, there's a table referenced regarding air criteria pollutants in the MND. And that question asks that of the pollutants that were measured in that table, all have shown a decrease since the year 2020. Is there a reason for this? And so staff's response is that the pollutants that were measured are ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and particulate matter. Only 2 of the 3 actually went down during the 3-year period. Nitrogen stayed nearly steady, and it did not represent a significant decrease. It is a slight increase. Regarding the decreases in ozone and particulate matter pollution, those are measured levels at local air quality monitoring stations. And so the decrease could have happened for various reasons. For example, ozone levels could be higher in years that had more hot, sunny days, since that kind of weather promotes ozone formation. Particulate matter may be higher in years with more wildfires. It would be speculative to try to extrapolate these trends into future years based on only a 3-year sample. This information referenced is the setting, and it does not report anything that would be a result of the proposed project. Staff did receive another question regarding electric vehicle truck charging facilities on the site. Specifically, is there any movement towards electric vehicles for port-related businesses? And staff responds that the city currently enforces electric vehicle parking and charging requirements through the Cal Green building standards. The proposed redevelopment is unlikely to trigger the EV truck charging facilities under the current Chapter 5 of the Cal Green building standards. Staff did receive a comment letter earlier this afternoon, and that letter has been added to the record and posted online. Specifically, in that letter, the commenter alleges that the proposed project poses substantial risks to public safety, traffic flow, and the overall health of the community. Regarding the increase in truck trips, the commenter states that the increase in truck trips will likely increase the already significant traffic delays in the neighborhood, make it difficult for emergency vehicles to navigate safely through the area, and further stress an already inadequate road system, and increase the likelihood of accidents, particularly for residents, pedestrians, and cyclists. In response to that concern, the project will increase the daily truck trips from 24 to 72. Per City Council ordinance, Wanimi Road is a designated truck route. Therefore, trucks should be traveling on this roadway as it is designed to handle the truck traffic. Per CEQA, vehicle delay is not an environmental impact. As discussed in the MND, the project will have a less than significant impact on emergency access, and the project would not conflict with the adopted policies, plans, or programs regarding public transit, bicycle, or pedestrian facilities. Regarding the increase in diesel truck emissions, the commenter states that the increase in diesel emissions will degrade air quality. As discussed in the MND, the project will have a less than significant impact regarding criteria pollutants and toxic air contaminants, as the project includes less than 100 trucks per day. The project actually includes 72 peak daily truck trips. Further, in that letter, the commenter requests additional mitigation measures, including immediate repairs to the roadway, limitations to truck idling, dedicated truck access lanes, enhanced drainage systems, and regular monitoring of mitigation measures. In response to that concern, the city's Public Works Department must determine that public improvements are necessary, and City Council must direct staff to complete any public improvements. As discussed in the MND, the proposed project would not substantially contribute to cumulatively considerable impacts related to transportation and circulation. And in summary, the information in that letter does not change staff recommendations. Staff did also receive a few questions regarding the on-site drainage of the project, and so I'll refer those to our engineering staff.
Good evening, Commissioner, Mr. Chair, and Vice Chair. This is Tai Chow, Assistant Director and City Engineer for Land Development. Staff did receive questions about whether this project has been designed to comply with the stormwater regulation, and the short question is yes. The project has been designed to include a bios well to the rear of the project site that will provide stormwater treatment as well as stormwater detention to mitigate the increase in flow due to the increase of the development.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Dobrowski and Mr. Cho. We'll move on at this time to the applicant if they are here. And if so, please introduce yourself if you'd like, and you have 15 minutes.
Okay, good evening. I am here to present to you Pantoja Truck Line as the family-owned business it is. Pantoja Truck Line was started by Jesus and Rebecca Pantoja. They are the proud owners and proud natives of Oxnard. They have the luxury of not just raising a business in Oxnard, but also raising a family in Oxnard. Like I stated before, this is a family-owned business, so we take pride in that. My name is Christine Pantoja. I am their daughter-in-law, so we definitely take pride in that. Together, they have 7 children. Their oldest, David, he works as their sales manager in the office. And their youngest son, Javier, is the second generation truck driver. In between that, they have other children who have not only started their journeys at Pantoja Truck Line, but have always reverted back, and definitely they've been able to become proud business women and business owners themselves because of starting at such a business. So they are very proud of that. With this development, we not only want to grow the business, but also bring jobs and work to the city of Oxnard. So with that being said, the existing yard is located adjacent to the applicant. Oh, I didn't know this was here. Sorry. Okay, so as I stated before, Javier is pictured on the right. He is second generation truck driver. That is Javier Pantoja. And David Pantoja, their sales manager, is pictured on the left. In between him and his younger sister, Christina, she's in high school. She currently attends St. Bonaventure, and she helps out in the office every summer. In between them two are the proud owners, Jesus and Rebecca. This is this is what we would like to do: park trucks on this land. And the existing yard is located adjacent to the planned parking expansion, and it houses the working office. Our goal is to accommodate the trucks as shown in the project design. This expansion will not only create opportunities for Pantoja Truck Line as the family-owned business, but also for Oxnard. And that is all. Thank you for your time and tonight.
Thank you. You said your last name, Miss Pantoja, right?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, would you like it Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Okay, Mrs. Pantoja, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
At this time, members of the commission may ask questions of the applicant or applicant through Mrs. Pantoja or staff, Mr. Dobrowolski. Commission. Commissioner Schulke?
Thank you, Chair. I have a question for staff, please. I'm glad to hear from the family-owned business this evening. I'm also sympathetic to parts of the public letter received this afternoon. I appreciate staff responding to many of these concerns a short while ago. I wanted to ask specifically about the recommendation put forward in this letter about placing limitations on truck idling. As I understand it, it seems like you're saying that would be unnecessary given that there isn't a concerning level of diesel emissions or impact to air quality. Nevertheless, would it be possible to consider limitations on truck idling?
Commissioner Schuelke, yes, as the commission wishes, that would be a condition that the commission could add to the SUP. As far as the air quality impacts go, the planning response is that the additional trucks, they don't create no impact. So there is a impact. That impact is less than significant. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. It does. What would it look like to place limitations on the idling?
So Commissioner Schuelke, would basically be setting like a time frame in which a truck is allowed to idle for any given time. So if it was sitting there on site, maybe setting like a 5-minute cap or 3-minute cap on how long a truck can be idling before it would need to be shut off and then restarted at a different time.
Well, thank you. I'll cop to being a layman on the trucking industry, except to say that, so I couldn't say how many minutes I think would make sense or be reasonable, only that I am sympathetic to the suggestion that there be some limitation, given these are right across the street from a number of homes. So I wouldn't know what number to pick out of the air, but.
I know some of our quality ones, I believe, kind of limited to maybe 5 minutes for idling, but also we could look to the applicant and kind of get some feedback from them as to kind of their operations as well.
Sure, yeah, that might be helpful. Thank you.
Would you like me to respond to that? Yes. Okay. In response to that question, that it's not necessary. We don't have trucks idling. However, if you do want to put some type of limitation as to when a truck waits to park, I can see as that would be the only time that a truck sits there and waits and idles. However, that's not something that we don't want trucks idling either. So that's not something that we have to time. However, if you want to put on a 5-minute timer, that would be more than necessary.
Thank you for your response.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Schuelke. Any others from the commission? I have a few. I'll start off with I'm trying to figure out if I'm saying comments or actually asking questions. I'll ask staff, as of right now, we have a temporary loss of quorum. Should I just stand at ease right now, just in case, for out of abundance of caution? Or can I continue with my questions at this time?
I'm sorry, Chair Rejo, yes, I believe you could continue your questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, my first questions, or maybe my only category of questions, are in regards to the code violation history, referring to pages 4 to 5. I think this would only be directed to Mrs. Pantoja, and I'll just preface before I go into my questions that I greatly appreciate the family history in regards to the projects. For better, for worse, we unfortunately don't see as many of the personal impacts that these projects can have. So that's greatly appreciated to have that intro in regards to this agenda item. But I have to ask, because if I'm going to stay just on the face of it, consistent, 3 years ago-ish, there was another project that came to us, school in the downtown, that had similar violations. I don't know if you would classify them as code, but at that time, I didn't believe that a permit or anything that came before the Planning Commission should absolve them of those violations. And so in that regard, I wasn't allayed by the concerns that I had in regarding to them following the, in my opinion, overwhelming but good amount of condition of approvals that protect everyone in the city and the city itself. And at that time, I believe I was the only one to, I either rejected or abstained from that permit. I have to ask, I have a couple of questions in regard to it. Why was the violation still recurring when the city already told you that it should not be done? And then in regards to that, I'll follow up on one of my comments that there's a lot of conditions of approvals in here. And how can the commission and the city be assured that you will be following them for the health and safety for the city, the residents, and anyone who visits the city? And my question is directed to Mrs. Pantoja.
I believe we have the engineers on Zoom, and they are going to answer any type of violation questions and any type of reassurance.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, are there people online?
There's a Bill Lindsay.
Okay, Bill Lindsay?
Yes.
Yes,
I
okay.
will unmute him now.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Lindsay, you are unmuted. I think you need to press star something, or if you could just talk and we can confirm that we can hear you.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for having me on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, confirm that we can hear you. Thank you, Mr. Lindsay.
Commissioner, thank you for your question and the concerns that relate to that. And both this site and the adjacent site had undergone years of looking to obtain the conditional use permit, or as we're at now, an SUP, as we're moving forward. The history of the site currently that's before you has historically always been used as a trucking site. And so unfortunately, as they were moving through this process, the violations that had come from this was with regards to the existing operation. And it had somewhat been I'm going to use, for lack of better description here, kind of penalized them that they could not continue in that truck operation when they bought that business out and at that location. So it really kind of began to injure the business. And you are aware of the time, the restraints, the conditions that are placed on many of these projects, some based on the city delays, some based on the applicant delays, some based on consultants. So there are a lot of delays that move through this. And really, in the spirit of just trying to operate their business and keep families fed, food on the table, is why they operated. Anytime there was a violation brought to their attention, it was immediately resolved. And ultimately, what they really want is to legally operate. And this is part of the problem we see across the county, is it would be great to have some sort of streamlined process to be able to have businesses operate temporarily. In the public sector, we find that they get checks every week, regardless of approvals, regardless of what takes place. In the private sector, that is just that's not what happens. And so unfortunately, without any of that progress, many of these families would not be able to feed their families, have income, keep a roof over their heads. So I definitely would agree with you. There are violations with this case. They were met, paid, resolved immediately. I personally met a couple different times with staff there on site. We resolved them, worked through them. We've met with the mayor. This has gotten a lot of attention as it's moved through. And really what we're asking tonight is a little bit of mercy and grace as we look to legalize and get this project approved, as it has been close to a decade in the works. So again, we are very respectful of that. Do not deny it. It's not right. It was to get the business operating. So I would ask that your consideration would go to the family and be in favor of approving this project.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. And you were introduced as the engineer. Are you with a particular consulting firm?
I am. I'm with Robert William Company. The engineer of record was Wade Lewis. He is our civil engineer on the project.
Acknowledged. Thank you for that. And thank you for your response. Okay. Again, to Mrs. Pantoja, referencing partially the letter that Commissioner Schulke was looking on, I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to look at it, but there were 5 mitigation measures proposed, but not limited to several. The second was in regards to truck idling. For myself, because one of my questions was in regards to that to staff before, is that regular monitoring and reporting on the effectiveness, at least in a comment letter, of these mitigation measures. But I just want to say, for any conditions of approval that might be in this permit, what is your response to any monitoring that might be done of this property in the future in regards to this permit, if imposed by the Planning Commission?
I will go ahead and speak to that. We regularly monitor everything in this business. We are a family-owned business, so everything has money attached to it, whether it's to feed our families or put our kids through school. So a truck idling would use fuel, and using fuel's the biggest expense in our business. We do not want to do that. We monitor every aspect. If it is a truck idling, we would put limitations on that. Like I said, that's not something that we have to worry about, because we do stress that with all drivers, all trucks. Do not waste fuel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I confused you with the question. I meant to expand the parameters of that. So if it wasn't just truck idling, if it was just any of the conditions of approval within the permit, is that something?
That's something that you can rest assured we will definitely monitor any type of parameters that you would like us to.
Then another follow would be, what would be your response if the Planning Commission imposed that? Not that we would. I just want to be assured that there's a third-party monitoring of the condition of approval. Just me speaking as an individual, I'm not sure if it will be approved by a majority of this commission, but I wanted to know what would be something reasonable that you could live under.
If there are third-party testing or whatnot that we would have to go through, that is something that we can put in place. We do follow all state guidelines, all federal guidelines, and we report to their responders that we have to report to, and their entities. So we would gladly report to another one.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Pantoja, for your replies. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll look to any others of the commission before we move on to public comment. Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, is there any public comment for this agenda item?
Yes, Chair. We have a raised hand on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Let's unmute that. Can you say the last 4 and then I'll call on that?
7632.
Okay, thank you. Caller ending in 7632. We're unmuting you, and if you could say your comment, you have 3 minutes. At this time, we cannot hear you. I believe you need to star 6 on your.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. You have 3 minutes. Please begin.
Okay. Well, I just want to mention also that, regarding the third-party monitoring, I want to emphasize that, and if you guys could consider that before making your decision. And also, another point I want to share is that this is a family business, and usually when you want to run a business, that's how it is. It would have all the costs that's required to run the business. And they have mentioned about their family, that they're trying to raise a family. Well, the thing is, so are the hundreds of families that are living in that area. And to say that that Wainimi Road are meant for trucks, semi-trucks only, well, why are there many homes that are built in the area and more are getting built? There's another 90 homes that are getting built right next to that Wainimi Road. So I'm just, I'm just confused why the city would approve more homes getting built in the area if that's only meant for semi-trucks. That's pretty much what I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment here in person or on Zoom land?
Chair Rejo, I saw that Bill Lindsay raised his hand again.
Okay. Well, Mr. Lindsay, you already responded, but you do have 3 minutes if you want for public comment. I'm going to look to, before you begin, I'm going to look to staff if I'm allowed to do that. They were technically the applicant, but.
Yeah, you can ask a follow. It's essentially a follow-up comment from an applicant.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay, you have 3 minutes if you would still like to comment.
Thank you. No, that was hit by accident. I'm no comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Madam Secretary, we'll mute the both that I see on Zoom land. And seeing no others in person, at this time, are there any, does the applicant wish to respond to the public comment? Mrs. Pantoja.
And am I able to speak, commissioners?
Is that you, Mr. Lindsay? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll wait for Mrs. Pantoja to delegate it to you.
Great.
If she would like.
I have one quick comment, and then Bill can go ahead and take the lead.
Okay, thank you.
Prior to being in Wainimi, we were located in Santa Paula. And there were a lot of, the port is down the street. We were coming from the port going all the way to Santa Paula. So to use Wainimi Road, we've always used it. To add to the comment of it not making a significant, it wouldn't compromise in any way because we've always used it the same way. Now we would just park closer. We would emit less fuel and less pollution. And with that, I will hand it to Bill.
Thank you. Commissioners, I would agree with the comments that were just stated. The other thing to take into consideration, we had talked earlier in regards to placing additional conditions or third party. I just want to draw the attention to the technical side and the review in California and the standards of the EPA, both within idling as well as now these new clean engine idles. Each year, as they continue to roll these out, we're faced with more and more scrutiny. So I would ask, again, that just have that consideration that these businesses are already placed with heavy scrutiny by others that are in a form of a third party, oftentimes by the state or federal level that's completed. So to that, we are very sensitive to the area, to the residents of the area. We want to be a good neighbor in this area. And as it was stated, the port has had trucking down this route for decades. And so we feel that it will definitely help reduce a portion of that with this operation. But I would like to just ask that we are considerate of the conditions placed on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay, and thank you, Mrs. Pantoja. Are there any closing remarks from staff?
Thank you, Chair Wayhill. Staff has no further comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dobrowski. The public hearing is now closed and looking to the commission for deliberation and/or motion. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I look at the project and it's been operating for a while. What I want to say, now it's an opportunity for it to be legal. And so everything comes into place. There hasn't been a whole lot of additional stuff coming on with this. We're just bringing it in so that we can have better control because now it's a legitimate legal according to the city rules for this. So I can support it. I think it's a good thing that they are coming, under the legal umbrella of the city.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission? Commissioner Schulke. Commissioner Schulke?
Again, I appreciate hearing from the business, the applicant, and I'm grateful for the public letter and the staff time that have gone into this. Regarding the limitations on truck idling, I understand the argument that the applicant would hope to see low fuel costs and therefore there wouldn't be any idling, but if that were so, I don't know that I'd ever have seen a truck idling. So I think there must be a variety of reasons that drivers choose to idle their trucks given the proximity to a residential neighborhood. I'll hope to stipulate that there be a 5-minute cap on truck idling. I don't walk around with Robert's rules the way some people I admire do, so I'll be leaning on you a little to put that forward, please.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Schulke. I'll process that as a point of parliamentary inquiry. You may, or any other commission, can include that in the main motion if they wish to, or you can, like in the previous item, wait for the main motion to be proposed and then move for an amendment separately. And that's up to the decision of whoever proposes the main motion. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the commissioners at this time? For myself, I think my entire questioning was my reticence at going to have a possible approval of this permit, just given my past history on similar items. One in particular was the one mentioned in regards to the school in downtown. Another indirectly was, I believe it was a pharmacy that had in what they believed was onerous regulations on themselves. And we, at least for myself, I noted that that they're there to protect the city, the people, anyone visiting, and the applicant themselves. And it was for a good reason, and that's why we have these hearings and we go through staff in regards to figuring out what the conditions of approval are. I'm torn because just at least at the public comment, they were heavily researched and very formal in terms of why they should be why this should be denied or approved. I know both of these individuals at least indirectly, and so I know that they wouldn't be commenting facetiously, but only for some serious concerns, and they go both ways. I think with the recommendation as as proposed to the Planning Commission, I wouldn't approve it. However, I'm willing to abstain if it goes as distributed, and I'm willing to approve it if there are any further amendments in regards to ensuring that the conditions of approval and any negative detrimental effects will be limited to the city. And those are my comments at this time. Any others from the commission? And if not, a motion is in order. Commissioner Schuelke.
Chair, I move that we adopt the recommendation with the suggested amendment of a 5-minute cap on truck idling.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Schuelke to adopt a resolution adopting final initial study mitigated negative declaration number 25-01 and adopt resolution number 2025-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 24-500-05 special use permit subject to certain findings and conditions, and the addition of a condition of approval with a cap of 5 minutes idling in regards to the vehicles. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Is there any deliberation on the motion before us? Before we go, I was considering including, as also mentioned by the public comment letter, of some type of regular monitoring and reporting. I take at face value the comments that Mr. Lindsay said that there are heavy requirements on all sorts of jurisdictions put upon them. I'm hesitant to approve it still. I'll see if there's any further deliberation, and I'm unsure of my vote at the end. Thank you very much. Looking to the other commissioners for their deliberation or comments. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I guess with your last statement, I guess I'd ask Commissioner Schuelke how he feels about adding that to the other, in other words, revising the current, make an amendment to the motion.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. At this time, the motion as proposed is before the body, and so we wouldn't go to Commissioner Schuelke. However, I will propose something, and we can deliberate that if it's seconded. And so at this time, I move to amend the motion to add a condition of approval that there is a monitoring of this property on an annual basis for the next 5 years to ensure that they're following the conditions of approval as stated in the permit. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Is there any deliberation on the motion before us? I'll look to Mr. Pearson first. I have my own comments, and then I'll look to the rest of the commission. Mr. Pearson.
So Chair Rejo, just in regards to the ongoing monitoring, there's not a set process for that at this point in time. However, we have had other projects where the condition has essentially been phrased as they will submit like an annual report showing compliance. I believe we received that for the project down also on Vainimi Road. I believe it was the event center. So the applicant would be required to submit an annual report to the city, which we would then be able to review and then determine compliance with the conditions of approval related to their operational activities. So I would ask that if that does make it into the conditions, that it be phrased as they will submit the report to the city for our review for compliance.
Okay. At this time, since the amendment has been seconded, I'm going to ask if there's any objection to changing the amendment to deliberate on to what Mr. Pearson has worded as, was that a self-reporting report to the department on an annual basis for the next 5 years? Is that probably the wording I should use?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pearson. I'll look to the commission if there's any objection to substituting the amendment as proposed and seconded with the language that Mr. Pearson suggested. Seeing no objection, the amendment before us is to include a condition of approval for the project applicant to report to the department on an annual basis for the next 5 years. I'll comment first and look to the commission after. Although it's not my preference to have a self-reporting because I'd like a third party, or I would be more confident in that. I think at this time, given all the comments posed to the Planning Commission, at least if this amendment is approved, I would be willing to approve the permit as amended. Looking to the commission if they have any comments on the amendment. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
I guess my understanding was, and let me see that I got it right, is that there isn't a process in place at this time, and so self-reporting is the only way it's being handled. Is that correct?
So, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart, so the city does have our code enforcement process. So if there was a notice violation, then code enforcement would be able to take action as they have on this property and historically. So that is essentially the process in which we make sure that projects that are approved are in compliance with their conditions, but there's no follow-up process where we go out and the city does like a report of compliance. It is generally once a violation has been identified by a member of the public, or if code enforcement happens to see that. So the way the condition would be written would be they would report that to us, so that way we would then be able to review at that point in time and then make a determination that they're still in compliance, as opposed to having a system in place where we proactively monitor various projects throughout the city.
So we get this self-report, and let me make sure I understand it, and then we review it. And if for some reason we need to send code enforcement out because there's a doubt, and how does that doubt come into play? In other words, what triggers that we look at the self-reporting and say, don't think so, and we need to go check it out, or we say, oh, it looks good, okay, I think we're fine.
So, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart, essentially, yes, that would be the way in which it would be handled. Obviously, we'd be able to review the report. If we had questions about it, we could follow up. If there were concerns or if we had received complaints that kind of went in contrary to the report that was received, then we could send out code enforcement and begin those enforcement actions, which Mr. Dobowski mentioned, which would be sending out code enforcement, citations, and then the kind of final step would be that permit revocation process.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Are there any other comments from the commission on the amendment before us? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call on the amendment?
Chair Arejo,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aye.
Commissioner Scholke.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you very much. The motion before us is the recommended action as distributed in the packet, plus the 5-minute cap on the truck idling, plus the self-monitoring report on an annual basis for the next 5 years. Is there any deliberation on the motion as amended before us? I like that there are some types of monitoring, and I I take the applicant's word that they will be cognizant of the condition of approvals, and by Mr. Lindsay's comments that in regards to the history of this, and that I do like Vice Chair Dr. Stewart's comment that this will, basically this regulation, this permit will regulate the activities that happen here, and hopefully that will be in the best interests of both the applicant and all those living in the city or traversing through it. Are there any other comments from the commission at this time? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Schuelke.
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, and congratulations. With no study sessions or reports on the agenda, the business will move on to Planning Commission business. Is there any business or updates to report from the commission? Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
I guess I just want to make a comment. Juneteenth, City of Oxnard is going to be June 21st at Plaza Park. And so everybody in the city is invited to participate. It's from 10 till 5, and there's going to be all kinds of vendor booths and just an opportunity to come out and enjoy Juneteenth and what it's about. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission? Commissioner Schuelke.
Oh, you were going to promote me there. No, thank you.
If you'd like.
I just want to thank the chair for your command of Robert's rules and for helping me there with that amendment. I appreciate it.
As always, of course, Commissioner Schuelke. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
I know we started today's meeting with a moment of silence, but I wanted to also extend and express my heartfelt condolences to the family of former Mayor Dr. Holden, to Dr. Lisa Knapp, their sons, and everybody who knew and loved him. Our heartfelt condolences.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. A couple from myself. In addition to Commissioner or Vice Chair Dr. Stewart, in regards to Juneteenth, I saw him a couple days ago in regards to the proclamation in regards to at City Council, and one again of the next Friday's June 13th is going to be the Philippine Flag Day raising, and so looking forward to that event. Usually it would be on June 12th, but the State of the City will be presented by Mayor MacArthur, and so that was the move from the 12th, as would normally be, to the 13th. And then following up on my comments regarding Planning Commission appointments, I'm still very hopeful that Mayor MacArthur and Councilman Starr will be choosing the replacements for both myself and Commissioner Dr. Lopez by their July 15 City Council meeting for our potential July 17 meeting. And I continue to ask the commission to be proactive in reporting any planned absences so that Mr. Pearson and the department is able to accommodate staff and project applicants in scheduling agenda items. I myself will unfortunately not be able to attend a potential June 19 Planning Commission meeting and have every confidence in Vice Chair Dr. Stewart's stewardship of the meeting. However, I'll recommend, if possible, and if there's nothing time sensitive, that we cancel the June 19 Planning Commission, but I'll leave that up to him to do so in conjunction with Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Thank you very much. Going to section I, Community Development Staff Update. Is there any update from the Community Development staff?
Yes, Chair Arroyo and Commissioners. Just to note that at this time, the June 19th meeting will be canceled. Obviously, then we will not have the meeting on the June 3rd or in July 3rd, as that was a previously canceled meeting. So the next meeting will be the July 17th. It does look like we may have about 4 or 5 items for that meeting. So hopefully we have a quorum for that one. And then Just also to note, staff is still working towards moving the Han Commission stipend forward, so that is tentatively to go forward. I believe it's June 26th, but I will.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson, and thank you for confirming that. I invite the other members of the commission in the resolution that were proposed to also speak on that, Commissioner Dr. Lopez and Vice Chair Dr. Stewart, to say any comments before or after, and we'll look until it's official, and then we can go on from there. Let's see, I know I had one more thing. You know what? I don't remember. We will, since there's no further business, the meeting will be adjourned if there is no objection. The meeting is adjourned at 8:03 p.m. Thank you all and good night.